This is John with Cigar Trends Magazine at Tobacco Plaza, and I'm here with Jose Ortega from My Father Cigars, and he's going to take us through the history of My Father Cigars, the different lines, and the key players with inside the brand and when it all got started.
Well, John, thank you for taking the time. As you mentioned, Jose Ortega, I'm the VP of Sales for My Father Cigars. We're actually here today at Tobacco Plaza doing a My Father event, but we're going to take a little bit of time to go answer some of the questions that you guys have. So basically, so that people understand, My Father Cigars is a company that's composed of, three key people, which are Jose Pepin Garcia, you got his son Jaime Garcia, and Gianni Garcia. So company as it is, it actually started back in 2003. When they left Cuba, came here to the United States in 2001, and then kind of started a little small factory, small place out in Calle Ocho, and that's basically where the company started. Just kind of in 2003, they formed this company and decided to roll cigars. I mean, this is what they knew from Cuba. This is what they've always done. Jaime happens to be an agronomist by trade, so kind of went hand in hand. So growing up next to his father, learned how to roll cigars, learned how to do some blending from Pepin. So when company started growing a little bit, this is what they did. So as far as the key individuals, again, you've got or the makeup of composition of the three. You've got Jaime Garcia, who basically runs the operation of the production in the factory in Nicaragua and Esteli. You've got Pepin, who oversees a lot of. He's involved in the factory, but he's also involved on the fields, overseeing the growing. We're up to about 1,400 acres of land that we're cultivating in tobacco. So, and then you've got Gianni, who actually oversees all of the daily operations of the Miami office as far as the distribution, collections, and so forth. So it's a beautiful marriage between the three and their father and kid, so it just works out perfect.
All right, so take me through the line of the different cigars. You have the My Father brand as the umbrella, and tell me how that got started.
Well, my father, it's a funny story actually. So my father was supposed to be just a brand. All right, so the initial brands were brands like Don Pepin, the original, the blue, the Don Pepin Black, Cuban Classic, it's a Cuban Classic known as the Black, and then you have the Series JJ in the Don Pepin line. So those were part of the original lines. We also had some El Rey de los Habanos, Vegas Cubanas, which we no longer make, but that was kind of the first part of the portfolio. Right around the 2008, Jaime comes out with a blend and says, hey, he gives it to Pepin to smoke, and Pepin's trying it out, and he's giving his okay on the blend, and he says, he says, Dad, I'm trying something new. I want you to try it, see what you think. He gives the approval. So Pepin happens to be in Miami one day. He's there. He's the only one there that can sign for a package. Package comes from the Dominican, and when he opens it up, it happens to be something that had the logo of my father, the artwork, and so forth. So he calls Jaime and says, Jaime, what is this that we just received? And he says, well, Papi, that was supposed to be a surprise for you. He was trying to pay honor to Pepin for everything that Pepin had accomplished up to that point, and he created a brand in honor of Pepin. It's known as My Father. Pepin then turned around and did the same thing for his father in the My Father Le Bijou 1922. The 1922 being the birth year of Pepin's father. So it was something that happened. When did it become the name of the company? A couple years later, it just made sense. I mean, in 2008, it became the #3 cigar of the year. It was a very successful brand. Everybody knew us more for. It really just took over as where people knew us. They knew the company by the name My Father, so it just made sense to make it the umbrella. So we have 11 different lines, all of which fall under that umbrella. So we have La Antigüedad, we have Flor de las Antillas, which was the #1 cigar of the year in 2012. We have Centurion. Again, I mentioned all the Don Pepins, and we've added the My Father Connecticut. So within the My Father itself, you have the My Father Connecticut in a lighter cigar. You have the My Father, and you have the My Father Le Bijou. Those are My Father brand, but all of the other lines are under the My Father umbrella.
Now, in the last couple of years, we've seen the trend of big ring gauges. What is a sediment on where this is going and what the next trend might be?
My personal observation, my opinion, if you will, as of a year ago, I would have said, if you asked me that a year ago, I would have said, you know what, it's really the big ring gauge. That's where everybody's at. I mean, we ourselves joined that by coming out with the Don Pepin Blue 62 ring gauge. We've had a 60 ring gauge, a 66 ring gauge in the Jaime Garcia. So we've joined that group. Not really going bigger than 66 though, but not for any other reason than just it's not something that we've decided as a company not to do. But the trend was really going into the bigger ring gauge, and it's still very hot. Don't get me wrong. But I'm seeing, as of about a year ago, I'm seeing kind of a small trend forming, going back to the Lanceros, some of the smaller Coronas. So it's going to be very interesting to see what from here to a year from now, where we can answer that question, how we can answer that question. Because I'm seeing that popping up in a lot of the stores.
Excellent. And it's myfathercigars.com and your Twitter handle?
Jose, my father Sig, C-I-G. If you guys have any questions, any concerns, feel free to send them my way. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I mean, you name it. If it's social media, I get involved.
Thank you very much for this interview. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise, brother. Thank you.